It's a great day in the land. We got Albert Pujols back. Hallelujah. Yes, I am a Cardinals fan. Welcome back to my channel. This is Color Me Bad Lynn. I'm back with a segment of Dear Color Me today. I hope everyone is doing well. I want to start this video off by saying thank you all for your love and your support. I thank all of my subscribers, especially my new ones. Welcome. Glad to have you. Just in case you haven't seen that many of my videos and recordings thus far. Just so you get a brief synopsis of what we do here on this channel. We talk mainly about the fragrances that are in my collection, those that are on my wish list. I have a lot of fragrances on my wish list. Also, the fragrances that are sent to me in the mail, those fragrances that are given to me complimentary through the mail or however, and gifts. We'll also talk about natural skincare. We'll talk about makeup. We'll also talk about hair, all things beauty. We'll talk about love, relationships, romance, you name it. We will hit those subjects. If you have any comments or if you have any thoughts, make sure you hit the comments. If you have any suggestions for things and topics you'd like for us to cover, make sure you hit the comments, or you can send me an email. Both of my emails that are inside of my YouTube channel both go to the same place, so don't be shy. Send me a message. Dear Color Me is how you address it, and send away. Also, I have a Instagram page. And my Instagram is colormebad_Lynn. It is mainly set up to discuss and talk about and connect with people for fragrances, introducing my channel to the world, and just trying to get my feet wet out there in Instagram land. I had to shut down all my Instagram pages about 2 years ago. And so I decided to open one back up for this purpose. And so I'm glad to be back on Instagram and all that good stuff. Today, what we're going to come on and address, I had a question that was sent to me back in October of last year, October 2021. You know that I don't do gossip. I don't like gossip. But I do want to touch on this subject because it is kind of close or similar in the respects of talking about defending your loved one's honor and protecting your loved ones. Of course, everyone all over the world has heard of what happened on the Oscars on yesterday. The situation where a said comedian made a joke about another one of our beloved actors' wife. And it definitely, you could definitely see the hurt and pain in her face from that comment. It was not taken lightly. She was hurt and she was offended. And her husband wasn't happy about it either. And you saw that. And we're going to come on and talk about not a similar situation, but because it kind of ties into what this question was all about and how I answered it, I thought it would be appropriate and very, very timely to come on and talk about this situation. And I'm just going to say this and get it out of the way. I'm with Will. For anyone who's ever been in a relationship or ever been married and they gone unprotected by any man in their family. And what I mean by unprotected, that means that that person just didn't cover them. They did not, love covers a multitude of sin. And no matter what the situation is, especially when it's family or someone that you're married to, when you really love someone, you cover them. You protect them. Okay. And so that's why I wanted to come on and share my thoughts about this question that was sent to me. I already answered this question back, but I wanted to come on and share it on my channel. And I actually wasn't going to do this because I've dealt with a similar situation and I didn't really want to talk about it. I really didn't. I wasn't sure the emotion that it was going to pull up through me and being this vulnerable. But that's what my channel is about. Okay. It is about being open and being vulnerable. And while I'm going through my healing process from some past traumas and hurts in my life, I'm also here to help others because that's what we're all here for on this earth. So in any way that I can serve, that God uses me to serve in any capacity, I'm available. Okay. So let's get into it. I just wanted to sit that disclaimer out there because it's a really time sensitive topic and issue because everybody knows about it. So let's get into it. Again, this was sent to me back in October of 2021. Excuse me. Okay. So it was addressed to me, and I just broke it down. It's Dear colorme. My ex-husband recently shared with me in a heated discussion that one of my family members shared their disdain for me with him. And I'm so frustrated. To my recollection, I've never had dealings with this person. They don't even know me well enough to have an ought with me. And it really puzzled me on why this particular relative felt comfortable enough to say what they said to my ex-husband. What are your thoughts on how to digest this information? Okay. So, like I said, I already responded back to this person. You know, I'm really easy when it comes to someone asking me a question that, like I said, if I've ever dealt with it or if it's something that I can share to help, I do the best that I can. I don't know everything. I am not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm not a clinician in mental health illnesses or behaviors, but I've dealt with it all. And so I'm very well versed in things like this. So I just wanted to come on and share this information because it has to do with protecting your loved ones and protecting the people that you love. Okay. All right. So, she asked me, what are my thoughts? I didn't share everything that I was thinking because I think that sometimes and a lot of times in life, you have to hold something back for yourself. You don't have to always allow everybody to know all of your thoughts because they're your thoughts. And you know, with your thoughts and your opinions, sometimes they're connected to feelings and emotions, and those things change. And that's why it's so important not to say things out of your mouth that you will then regret later on down the line. Because once you say something, it's out there. You can't apologize for things that you say. They're said. You can apologize and forgiveness can be had, but it's still out there. So that's why it's really important to kind of not, say certain things and do certain things in life because there's always a repercussion behind it. The first thing that I mentioned to her was, it's good that, and I went back and read this email in my response to make sure I was accurate about this, just in case she gets a chance to watch this, she'll see it. It's good that you're no longer married to him. Okay. I said that to her. The reason I said that to her was because a husband is someone who protects you. Okay. He covers you. Okay. When you first meet a man and he is interested in you, and other than just, being a cordial friend, that protection or just automatically kicks in. If you're a woman and you're in a relationship and you have a good mate or a good friend, you know what I'm talking about. It kicks in without you asking him or telling him what you need him to do. He just automatically does it because he is a real man. And so I told her, I said, it's good that you're no longer married to him. He wasn't a protector. When he's supposed to protect you and protect your honor. Now, I'm not saying that his response should have been as drastic as fighting or anything like that. But there are several ways that you can protect someone that you love's honor. That should have been done. Okay. That should have been done. And then also, I stated to her that your ex-husband should have stood up for you. Again, standing up for someone doesn't mean that you have to physically fight or use any type of abusive or aggressive language with a person. There are ways to shut communication down and let a person know, hey, I understand that there may be some issues there. I don't know if he could have said, I don't know if my wife is knowledgeable about the issues that you have with her or whatever the case may be. But that's definitely something that you guys need to hash out between the two of you. And I don't want to be a part of that. That's my wife. And I would appreciate if you didn't speak with her in that way. There are so many different ways that you can handle situations like that. Also, I mentioned to her that that was her relative's intention. Her relative's intention was to hurt her, and what he did was he went through her husband to do that. You know, he wasn't man enough to say it directly to her face, and so he went through him to get that message over to her. And that's really, really sad, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, so what he did was he went through her husband to make sure that she got the message. And you know, that can be really hurtful, especially when they don't know each other and they're just having a conversation with one another, and for their relative to be comfortable enough to share his ill feelings or ill will against someone that's actually supposed to be related to him, to her ex-husband. How hurtful could that be? Especially depending on what type of a person she was married to, and how he brought that information back to her. So that's like a double whammy and a double hurt, because first of all, you got it coming from someone that she probably thought well of, and probably in some ways or another respected and had love for, or have love for, coming from someone that she chose as a life partner. So that's a double whammy. And then the delivery of how her ex-husband brought the information to her, that's a whole nother can of worms. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a really, really hurtful situation. Okay. And then with that, we went into a lot of information. Like we really had a nice conversation, about that. I don't know how I would handle that situation. One thing that I've always practiced is ignoring ignorance. When people, for whatever reason, decide to divisively use their heartfelt thoughts with someone that they know is going to bring it back to me, or whatever the case may be, you have to ignore that. That's another reason why I meditate, is because you don't want to harbor bitterness within yourself just because of what someone else has said about you and how they feel about you. You know, especially if it's coming from someone that you love, because what's going to happen is you're going to internalize those things. If you're, you know, that type of a person, if you're a kind-hearted, empathetic person by nature, you're gonna take that in, and you're gonna let that soak in, because a lot of times when you care about people, you know, you're expecting them, no matter what, to love you. You know, when you love people, you love them through situations. And if you do feel a certain way about them for whatever reason, or there's an issue, that should be hashed out and discussed between those two adults, not with an outsider that person barely knows. That's really, really, really a cowardly way to approach issues that you have with people. And that's so it's very difficult for me to tell you how I would handle that situation. But 9 times out of 10, if you don't have a really good relationship with that person, and I'm sure that you know when someone doesn't really care for you, you know when someone really doesn't like you, you know that they show you. So that's not something that is new to you. It probably hurt because it came from someone, like I said, that you gave your heart to and your life to for a lifelong partner, to bring that information back to you. You also have to look at the fact of, again, why did your relative feel that it was comfortable? Why did he feel comfortable enough to give that information to your ex-husband? What kind of person would do something like that? Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's done to intentionally hurt you. It was your husband's job and responsibility to protect you and stand up for your honor, and he failed in that area. And I understand why he's your ex-husband. And I don't agree. I don't like divorce. No one ever gets married for it not to work out. Unfortunately, things like that do take place. I'm very grateful for the legal system and being able to get out of situations that are not healthy, that are toxic and abusive, because I went through a situation that I had to get out of. And it took me a long time to get done with it. And so I greatly appreciate that. But with the same token, at that time, he should have stepped up in your behalf and in your honor, to protect you, to protect his family. Because if a person continues to do that, they're gonna always do that and treat you and disrespect you. Okay. And someone has to speak up for you. And if they don't speak up for you, that's the reason why they feel it's comfortable to say those things about you to other people, so that it gets back to you. Okay. But like I said, when people don't care for you, when people don't. So that's one thing I learned as a young person, as a child, when I don't know what it was about me, as a kid, but I've always been able to detect that. Okay. And sometimes when people are like that toward you, you still have to get along with them. You can't wear your hearts on your sleeve, and never deal with people just because of how they feel about you, especially when you've never done anything personally, to them. That's their problem. And so you have to learn how to not take on other people's problems when it comes to that. If they got a problem with you, 9 times out of 10, it's an issue that they have with themselves. And they're just, like I said, projecting it onto you, especially if you've never had anything, any dealings with that person, just outside of being cordial because they're family. So for me, I would just let that water go under the bridge. You have to pick and choose your battles in life. And if you waste your time on some situations that really it doesn't matter. It's not going to change that person's perception of you. It's not going to change how that person operates. It's not going to stop them from being that way towards you. It's not going to stop anything. So I wouldn't waste my time there. There's so much more of life, so much more to live in life, than worried about what somebody's saying about you, because of how they feel about themselves, because they are not happy with themselves and they don't like themselves. That's really where the root of that is. That's where the root cause of that is. Like I said, if you've never done anything to this person and they don't even really know you, they don't know you very well, why worry about it? Don't let it bother you. It may hurt a little bit. And depending on what was said, you may need to go to counseling about it. If you are in the counseling sessions now, you may want to bring that topic up in one of your sessions and get it out of you if that's what you feel like you need to do. If you feel like you need to address that person, you can. I wouldn't. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. Normally, narcissistic behavioral people will deny that they ever said anything, or they will pretend like they don't remember and things of that sort, because oftentimes that's the whole reason why they do that. They want to take the focus off of what their issues are and their messiness of life is, and put it off on whoever they can. And that's what I was talking about before, about rejection and projection. So I wouldn't waste my time there. I'm long-winded. I can go, but I would not waste my time there. It's not worth it. If your ex-husband didn't step up to the plate and defend you, then it's already done and out there. He already did what he wanted to do. He fed that negative seed to your ex-husband to bring back to you, to hurt you, period. Okay. And I would leave it at that. Even if it did hurt you, like I said, if you're not in counseling, get some counseling. Or if you have anybody that you can talk to, talk it out with someone and just get it off of you. If you have a journal, or you can get a notebook and start a journal. Journaling is so good. When we were growing up, we used to have diaries. I was never a really good diary keeper. With diaries, you have to kind of note in them every day or at least check in with your diary once a week. And I was never really good and consistent with that. But I do journal. Okay. And journaling is so healthy, because you can write on paper how you're feeling in a certain moment in your life and go back and read through it later on down the line, to see how far you've come, how you've healed, what you were feeling on this day about a certain situation that may not have really been that big of a deal, but at that moment it was, and how quickly it went past and you've forgotten all about it. So that's why I say I wouldn't even worry about it and I wouldn't address it. If that person, like I said, if you haven't done anything to that person, you probably don't see them that often anyways. So their thoughts about you really don't matter. They really don't. There's nothing you could ever do to make that person happy or like you or love you. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Even if they tell you they love you, there is nothing that you can do to change their behavior. So you can just forget about that and move on with your life. Still love them, but I will move on with it and not worry about it. And if you really do, if it really hurt you really bad, get counseling for it. That's what I recommend. Okay, so that's what I shared, and that's what I wanted to come on and talk about. Like I said, it was a really time sensitive issue because of what happened last night on the Oscars. And like I said, I'm not a gossiper. I'm not going to name names. You guys know what happened. You saw it for yourself. And I'll state this again. I'm with Will Smith. I am. He protected the honor of his wife. And I'll say this because I'm not about violence. I totally believe in keeping your composure and keeping your cool and never letting a person see you sweat. But picture this. It was Sicily, 1821. I'm just kidding. Think about this. What if that was you and your wife? And you've been with this woman for 20, 30, 40 years. You got children. You have built an empire together. Okay? And no matter what the public knows about your relationship, they don't know the real you. They don't know what you really are going through. They don't really know what goes on in your household. Okay? No matter what gossip people talk about and all of that, they don't know. What I saw in that moment was a man that loves and cherishes his wife. Regardless to anything else that we know about them or we've heard about them or they have exposed about their own lives. That's really none of our business. It really isn't. It really is none of our business. But what I saw in that moment, and I really, really mean this from the bottom of my heart. And this is really what all women want when they marry someone, is a protector. He protected his wife. He protected her honor. She was shamed in front of billions of people all at one time. If you want to go back and watch the video, look at her face. That hurt her. And her husband stepped up and did something about it. This is Color Me Bad Lynn. I want to thank you guys for watching. This is a little different from what I normally do on my channel. But that moment touched me. And I wanted to come on and share my thoughts about it because I respect the man that protects his woman and protects his family. So important. So important. Because if he didn't step up to the plate, all of the things that people say and do would just continue and continue. And I really, really respect Will Smith for stepping up and protecting his wife. All right. That's all I want to say about that. I want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the love and the support. This is Color Me Bad Lynn signing out for now. God bless you guys. One love.